This is the QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studio on Kairaba Avenue, and I am Jewel Denjai. Thank you for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. We look at how, due to being deemed stateless, the residents of Brufut, Ghana town are grappling with significant challenges in accessing education and job opportunities. On Tuesday, journalists and board members of the Gambia Press Union gathered for a two-day validation and capacity building to assess an assault and battery guide for journalists. The West African Science Service Center on Climate Change and Adapted Land Use, in collaboration with the Institute of Research for Sustainable Development, hosted a conference on Tuesday to review progress on climate services for risk reduction in West Africa. The launch of the 17th edition of the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering, financial experts in West Africa have called on young people to take a leading role in combating financial crimes across the region. In sports news, we look at how Gambian players abroad continued the recent trend by putting on brilliant displays at club level. These and other stories coming ahead. To stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News. The residents of Brufut, Ghana town, by being deemed stateless, are grappling with significant challenges that threaten their educational prospects and economic stability. Stranded in the Gambia due to migration by their parents and grandparents, the town's youth and families face a crisis in accessing education and job opportunities. Usman Jata has the latest.
The dream of quality education and employment is blocked by a lack of documentation. Upon completing high school, many men turn to fishing and many women become fishmongers like their fancy forefathers from the coastal regions of Ghana. Alexandra Mensah is a living witness to this reality.
Most of them sitting here, no documents. They've completed grade 12. But they are not allowed to get to the university, to the college, school of nursing. All what the youth here need is, let them just get their document, let them have their right.
Their plight for legal recognition has direct implications for their employment. Youths and adults in Brufut, Ghana town encounter several challenges to secure jobs offering a living wage. Alfred Nyarakolt is an electrical engineer. He is among the few residents working for a local electrical company. However, his lack of documentation on his legal status is hindering his opportunities to launch his company.
Investors, a lot of people that are willing to come for us to at least open a very large company here. But now, trust is something else. So they have asked me several times that let me try and just open my own company. Then all of them can come in and come and help. But because of lack of documentation, when you go here, they will say you're a foreigner. You cannot get a proper document to open your company.
At one point, former President Jammeh declared them to be citizens, but failed to put their matter to the National Assembly for further scrutiny and adoption. However, the current administration and non-governmental organizations are stepping up efforts to address their plight. Officials of the Gambia Commission for Refugees recently concluded a 3-day assessment to determine their status. Ibrahim Mane is the commissioner of the Gambia Commission for Refugees.
We've also moved on to ensure that key ministries like Minister of Health in terms of their health issues, in terms of their health issues when they fall sick, they go to hospital, of course you have to present something to ensure to be able to link yourself to a particular institution. So all these discussions are on.
The ripple effects of inadequate education and unemployment can lead to poverty. Several Brufut, Ghana town youths say they feel drained by the trauma of waking up daily to struggle for survival and legal recognition. Born and raised in the Gambia, Mr. Mensah emphasizes his commitment to sharing his knowledge with his community.
This way my whole body will be buried. So if I'm to impact or if I'm to do anything, this way I have to invest. The knowledge I have, I'll invest it and share it with my nephews, my community members and the surrounding.
As the sun sets over in the horizon, these residents remain resilient, gathering in small groups to exchange stories of struggle and determination, united by a common goal to overcome the challenges of statelessness while striving for a brighter day and a brighter future for themselves and their children. Osman Jata, reporting for QTV News.
On Tuesday, journalists and board members of the Gambia Press Union gathered for a two-day validation and capacity building to assess an assault and battery guide for journalists, jointly organized by International IDEA and the Gambia Press Union under the project EU Support to the consolidation of democratic dispensation in the Gambia. Aliou Cisse has the details.
Developed by consultant Mansour Job, a legal practitioner, this comprehensive guide provides knowledge and understanding of assaults on battery and provides safety measures, response strategies, and legal guidance on seeking redress for journalists who fall victim to such attacks. While assault generally refers to an act that causes someone to fear imminent harm or unwanted contact, battery involves intentional, unwanted physical contact that causes harm or offense to someone. Mohamed Esba, the president of the Gambia Press Union, and Jenaba Fai, the head of International Ideas Gambia's office respectively, said the event is not just about building capacity of journalists, but also to reinforce the collective resolve to end all forms of violence against journalists.
Since 2017, we have documented numerous incidents of journalists facing assaults and intimidation.
In an era where the safety of reporters is paramount, this guide stands as a testament to our commitment to ensuring the protection of journalists in their line of duty. As journalists, you may find yourself in challenging situations. This guide aims to provide you with essential knowledge and strategies to navigate these risks effectively.
Inya Brown from the EU Gambia office said journalists play a crucial role as defenders of democracy. She said the EU remains committed to upholding the rule of law and democratic principles in the Gambia.
We believe that by building awareness and understanding of legal provisions, journalists can are in better position to defend their rights and to seek justice when they are wronged.
As part of the opening, International IDEA handed over equipment including 2 laptops, a printer, and 5 filing cabinets to support the work of the JPO Secretariat. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
The West African Science Service Center on Climate Change and Adapted Land Use, in collaboration with the Institute of Research for Sustainable Development, hosted a conference on Tuesday at the OIC Conference Center to review progress on climate services for risk reduction in West Africa. Mam Nabuka was there, and this is her report.
West African nations are grappling with urgent climate-related challenges including environmental degradation, extreme heat waves, and reduced agricultural productivity, all of which demand sustainable solutions. The Climate Services for Risk Reduction in Africa is a collaborative initiative between the West African Science Service Center on Climate Change and Land Use and the Institute of Research for Sustainable Development. This partnership is focused on strengthening climate resilience across the continent by raising awareness and improving access to critical climate knowledge. The conference aims to offer a comprehensive understanding of climate resilience challenges, potential solutions, and the pressing needs for sustainable land use management in West Africa. It seeks to engage all stakeholders in developing effective strategies to tackle the impacts of climate change while also fostering innovation and building local capacity. Emmanuel Ramde is the executive director of WASCAL.
I call upon all stakeholders to roll up their sleeves and fully commit to the recommendations and strategies that will emerge from this conference. Let us seize this moment to establish a stakeholder engagement framework that will support sustainable development and build regional resilience.
The Gambia is highly vulnerable to hydrometeorological hazards such as droughts, floods, and increasingly intense storms, all of which are major drivers of reduced agricultural yields and rising hunger across the continent. These climate-related challenges also put the country at risk of significant infrastructure damage, disruptions to transport networks, and escalating food insecurity, which could lead to displacement and migration. Mohamed B.S. Jallow, the Gambia's vice president, outlined key actions in the national development plans.
Pillar 1 of the recovery-focused national development plan centered on building community resilience to shocks. Since fragilities arising from effects of climate change, which is worsening food security, livelihoods, and poverty. Government strengthened initiatives to complement national sectoral programs to address the effects of these combined shocks and build resilience at household and community levels.
Diversity and inclusion were central themes in the discussion, with an emphasis on bringing together both policymakers and local communities to co-create sustainable solutions tailored to the realities of those most affected by climate change. The goal is to ensure that these solutions are accessible and impactful. Stéphane Dover, the head of the French diplomatic mission in the Gambia, also shared individual actions that contribute to climate change.
When we own a car, when we fly, when we consume imported goods, means that we are contributing greatly to climate change and the evolution of this world.
Science and innovation will play a key role in the CS4RRA initiative, helping to identify critical gaps and ensure the implementation of sustainable solutions. The two-day deliberation will focus on shaping the next steps needed to secure a more sustainable future for West Africa, Europe, and the planet as a whole. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
That report there by Mamna Buka will take us to a commercial break. When we return, we have more local and sports news stories for you. Do stay with us.
Welcome to the future of transportation in the Gambia. The Bertel Harding Highway, a 22-kilometer double carriageway, is set to revolutionize travel and connectivity in our beloved country. A 3-lane highway means more space for vehicles, smoother traffic flow, and reduced congestion. Each lane has a specific purpose. The leftmost lane for overtaking and faster vehicles. The middle lane for standard driving, and the rightmost lane for slower and turning vehicles.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News, and now to the rest of our stories. Financial experts and anti-money laundering advocates in West Africa have called on young people to take a leading role in combating financial crimes across the region. The appeal was made during the launch of the 17th edition of the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering, GIABA, Open House Forum for Youths on Anti-Money Laundering. And Sumane Sonyasi tells us more.
Youth leaders from across West Africa are in Banjul for the 17th edition of the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering, Open House Forum, focused on combating money laundering and terrorism financing. With terrorism-related crimes on the rise in the region, authorities are ramping up efforts to address financial crimes, particularly those linked to terrorist financing. Central to these efforts is the role of young people who are being urged to take a proactive stance in the fight against money laundering. Alaji Dabo, the GIABA national focal person and head of the Gambia's Financial Intelligence Unit, emphasized the importance of educating youth on the risk and legal consequences of engaging in financial crimes. He encouraged them to step up as the future leaders of the region and actively participate in safeguarding their societies from financial terrorism.
In today's digital age, the rise of virtual assets has brought both opportunities and challenges, particularly for youth. While these innovations can provide new avenue for economic engagement, they also present risk. Young people in digital natives are increasingly involved in the world of cryptocurrencies and other virtual assets.
Additionally, Alaji Dabo highlighted the importance of building resilience and vigilance, particularly in vulnerable communities across the region. He stressed, however, that empowering young people with the knowledge and tools needed to fight financial crimes is equally crucial. Timothy Melai, Information and Financial Manager at GIABA, echoed this sentiment, emphasizing that while governments and regulatory bodies must enforce targeted financial sanctions on proliferation financing, the success of the region's fight against financial crimes depends on youth involvement. Young people must join the fight, he stated, noting that due to their susceptibility to exploitation by criminals, it is vital to equip and encourage them to take an active role in safeguarding their communities and economies.
We hope that at the end of this program, you will have developed great interest in the areas of money laundering and terrorist financing, not to participate, but to combat it, including anti-corruption, the fight against drug trafficking and human trafficking, fight against violent extremism and other negative vices in our society.
Speaking on behalf of the Minister for Youth and Sports, Alaji Jaju, Executive Director of the National Youth Council, acknowledged the notable challenges facing the region, but emphasized the positive strides being made, particularly in the Gambia, where the government has shown strong commitment to tackling money laundering. He stressed the importance of involving young people at the forefront of the fight against financial crimes, highlighting their energy, adaptability to technology, and innovative ideas. These qualities, he noted, are essential in building a more secure and transparent financial system for the future.
The government of the Gambia is fully committed to enhancing our efforts to combat money laundering and terrorist financing. Over the past decades, we have collaborated closely with GIABA and other international partners to ensure our laws, policies, and institutions are robust enough to tackle these threats.
Although GIABA has supported member states in the fight against money laundering and financial terrorism over the years, helping many develop progressive frameworks and implement reforms to address the challenges posed by criminals exploiting weaknesses in financial systems, significant challenges persist. As a result, there are renewed calls for both young people and governments to intensify efforts in ensuring safe, transparent, and resilient financial systems, essential for sustainable development across the region. Ansmane Sonyasi for KTV News.
Now, in an important step on the journey towards enhancing public health readiness, the Ministry of Health and Partners kick-started a two-day validation exercise on Tuesday on the recently completed Joint External Evaluation, a comprehensive assessment to evaluate the country's capacity to prevent, detect and respond to health emergencies. In this report by Loli M. Camara.
This initiative, which is supported by global health partners, aims to pinpoint areas of strength and identify opportunities for improvement in managing public health threats. The joint external evaluation assesses the country's capacity to prevent, detect, and rapidly respond to public health threats. Dr. Ifeanyi Livinus, the WHO emergency team lead, emphasized the importance of the evaluation.
In this meeting, we are expected to look at the document we already developed a few weeks ago, but there are no-go areas. The no-go areas are the gradings. We are told that those gradings they are sacrosanct. Before the external team left, we had already agreed on the grades for all the 19 thematic areas, or 19 core capacities. So please, in these discussions, we should just leave those gradings and look at the priorities and activities we highlighted. If there are things we want to include, priorities we want to include, to make sure that the capacities are built over the year, going forward, that is what we're expected to do.
The Permanent Secretary One at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Omar Jah Jr. and Fatoumata Diba, the Deputy Director of Health Services, both pointed out that validating the JEE enhances its credibility, promotes transparency, and helps countries identify areas for improvement, which is essential for prioritizing public health investments and improving global health security. Additionally, with the insights from this evaluation, they can take a more targeted approach to strengthen our systems and build a more resilient health sector.
As we move forward the GE role in identifying our most urgent needs within the health security system cannot be overstated. It allows us to prioritize opportunities for enhanced preparedness, operational readiness, and effective response and action.
Everyone has been committed to this, and we'll want to say thank you to everyone for the commitment, and together let's continue the momentum. And we do not pray for emergencies, yes, but they are inevitable. But when we put our house in order and then we get the capacity to respond when it comes our way, then we'll be able to contain them.
The results of the JEE are expected to provide actionable recommendations which will guide policy reforms and resource allocation to improve the country's public health response. For QTV News, Loli M. Camara.
Up next is sports news. Now, Gambian players abroad continued the recent trend by putting on brilliant displays at club level over the weekend. Their performances included goals and trophies. Our sports reporter Amadou Tamba has been following their progress and gives a roundup.
Former Gunjur United and BST Galaxy sensational Gambian young midfielder Aruna Rashid Njai won his first professional trophy after helping his Latvian side RFS beat FK Uda 4-2 in the Latvian Cup final after extra time. The combative midfielder started and played the entire 120 minutes. Gambian striker Alassana Jatta scored a brace to propel Notts County into the next round of the English FA Cup in their 5-1 win at home to Alfreton Town. Jatta first swept in a cross inside the 6-yard box before superbly planting home his second. Former Gambia under-23 forward Mohamed Samba won the Faroe Islands League Cup trophy with HB Tórshavn on Saturday. Samba played 75 minutes as he helped his side defeat B36 Tórshavn 4-3 in post-match penalty shootout following tied 2-all draw. Striker Lamin Koli gave Puskas FC Academy an early lead in their 1-all draw at home to Újpest FC in the Hungarian top division. Colley, who swept home the game's opener, has scored 6 goals in 11 matches for Puskas, who are now second on the table, level on points with fourth-place Ferencváros after 23 matches, having played a game more and are a point ahead of third and fourth-place teams. Scorpion striker Abdullah Cisse scored a brace in 10 minutes for Estonian side Paide Linnamäskon in their 4-0 victory away to Nom United in the Estonian Meistriliiga. Cisse has now registered 16 goals and 6 assists. Scorpion centre-back Nuha Sanko-Sundberg scored a brace for Sivasspor as they defeated Ali Sou's Rizespor 2-1 at home in the Turkish Super League. Nuha coiled in a delightful free kick before heading home his second of the game. In Egypt, former Steve Biko star Sekou Conte headed an 88-minute goal on match day 1 to register his first goal of the season for Egyptian second division side Olympique El Kana in a thrilling 2-2 draw at home to El Mansoura. Scorpions winger Moussa Diawara scored a spectacular 88-minute goal to earn Violet Bolt Club a precious point in their scintillating 3-3 draw away to AAB in the Danish Superliga. Diawara unleashed a gorgeous left-footed shot into the far corner. Scorpions forward Moussa Barrow was on the score sheet for Al Tawoun. Barrow's goal restored parity for Al Tawoun in a 1-1 draw at home to Al Khulud in the Saudi Pro League. Skillful Gambian winger Jibril Silla ended Young Africans' unbeaten start to the Tanzanian Premier League season as he scored the only goal for Azam to help them beat Young Africans 1-0 in Dar es Salaam. Silla collected a through ball from midfield and thumped the ball past the Eagles of Mali goalkeeper Jigi Jara in goal for Young Africans. In the Slovakian Nike Liga, Alassana Jurajang scored the only goal for Zelezian Podbrizova in their 3-1 defeat at home to Slovan Bratislava. With little over a week before the Scorpions of the Gambia take on Comoros in a must-win AFCON qualifier, the Scorpions players are on top of their games, and if they bring this goal-scoring form to the national team, Gambians can be hopeful of a good result. For QTV News, Amadou Tamba.
The report there by Amadou Tamba brings us to the end of this bulletin. Do join us again at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thank you for watching.